Okay, give me 10 seconds. Good to go.
Thanks, Jeremy. Welcome everyone to our West Hill Community Association Summer Quarterly Meeting. We're really excited to have you all here, whether that's on Zoom, via Facebook Live, or watching on YouTube. So thanks for taking some time to tune in to some updates about our community. Before we jump into community reports, I wanted to take a moment to share some updates about WHCA. We've got some exciting things happening. First, if you all ran into us at the Juneteenth event at Campbell Hill, you may have seen that we were asking for feedback about a community mural project. We had over 400 folks vote in person and online about public art in Skyway. We were super excited by the response from folks, and so we're going to move forward with all of these mural options chosen by the community. And not everything is hammered out in stone, so please follow us for more updates as this happens, but it's exciting to think about more public art going in our community. I also wanted to share that WHCA is hosting a new event this summer. Sadly, we are not hosting Skyway Outdoor Cinema, just due to upcoming construction with the US Bank building and the parking lot behind the 7-Eleven where we typically host Skyway Outdoor Cinema. But we are launching a new event called Skyway Park Takeover. So we're excited to do that in partnership with King County Parks. And it's all about getting active in the park. There will be free food, music, wacky races, and that is in August, Saturday, August 12th from 12 to 4 p.m. And there's a lot of events happening here in Skyway. So we wanted to let you know that kind of as your go-to place for updates and events about things happening in Skyway, we'll be releasing a summer event roundup later this week. And we encourage you to go to mywesthill.org/connect to sign up for emails and join our social networks for updates, because there's a lot going on, which is great to see. One last update from WHCA. We want to put a plug out there for any folks who are interested in volunteering to be on our board. I recently stepped down from WHCA's board, and that is because I am working as a community leader with the organization. So we're excited to grow and expand, but we'd love to have more representation from the Skyway community, whether you're a business owner or a resident. We'd love to talk to you and chat more. So that's all I have for WHCA updates, and we can go ahead and get started on community reports. So we'll begin with King County Department of Local Services. Is John Taylor on the call, or David Daw, are you taking it away?
I'm taking it away. So John is on his way. He's on the ferry, the water taxi right now. He'll be joining us in about 10 minutes or so. But in the meantime, I have.
And also, David, let me know if you'd like me to just move you to later in the agenda if you want to wait for John, but you're welcome to present now.
We'll present now.
Okay.
So I have, I'm going to give an update on our community needs list, and I'll kind of go over what that is, our participatory budgeting process and where we are now with that. And then I brought a special guest from regional planning with us, Chris Jensen. And they're here with us to kind of give an update on some policies that we're considering that may affect Skyway, and just wanted to give them opportunity to kind of share. So with that, I'm going to start off with community needs list. Some of y'all may have remembered we did community needs list last year. Community needs list are a list of potential services, capital projects, improvements in the area, where we ask community what do you want to see in your area. So we're doing that again this year for a couple of reasons. Last year we did it and we gave it to departments, and they used maybe a quarter of the information that was received to work on their budgets. The reason was because we weren't good at DLS wasn't as good at asking the question about what it is that you want us to do that we actually do. So we got a lot of responses like, we want a water park or something that was outside of King County's role. So this time the survey is a little bit more clear, and I'm going to actually pop it in the chat if I can, the link, so everybody can kind of take a look at it. And so we're going to be doing this process. It's going to be now through fall, but the actual intake of surveys is going to be only about a month and a half. So end of August is when we have to complete our surveys. And we are asking for as much feedback as possible. The community needs list will be actually used to affect the budgets for the departments. So what we do is take this information that we get from community, we then kind of break it up by department, and we give it to them, and they go through it and see what's feasible, what can be done, and based on priority by community, the goal is for them to actually address those when they are doing their budget process. So it's really impactful. It's probably the most impactful thing that DLS does, believe it or not. That's a program. So this is community's opportunity to actually have a say in what it is we fund. So with that, I am going to throw the survey in the chat here. And it's pretty detailed. And what we're asking people to do is, it's probably 20 minutes if you try to do everything, but you can just go to the section that's of interest. So if you're like, we need to fix the sidewalks on Renton Avenue, you can go to roads and just do that section right there. So with that, for outreach, we're going to be contracting with community partners. So this communities list affects all of unincorporated King County, and each area we are identifying community partners to work with to actually get the word out. And West Hill Association is going to support us in the Skyway area. So you'll be hearing more about communities lists coming up soon. We're going to have flyers out there in multiple languages. We're going to be having events, activities, and all that good stuff. So I'm going to stop there. Any questions on community needs list?
David, go ahead.
No.
David, I'll circle back if anyone posts a question via Facebook.
All right, perfect. And then for participatory budgeting, so we are in our second round of participatory budgeting. So this is the second year that we've done it. So last year we gave over $3 million for projects in Skyway. Where the groups are now, they're actually in the planning phase for how they're going to allocate the funds this year. So the way the process works, there's a steering committee that comes together that are made up of the 5 urban unincorporated areas. And they kind of build their process from scratch each year. They determine how the funds are allocated based on community need and some indices that are created by King County that they can use, and they can mix and match any kind of way they want. So they're actually this week going to be determining kind of the allocation model. And then once we have that information, we'll be sharing that out with community. So you'll know how much you'll have this round to spend. After that piece of work is done, they're going to start the idea generation phase, where they'll be actually going out to community and asking what projects would you like to fund with this money. So that will be going on mid-August through the summer. So I think their timeline is August through September or so. So there'll be plenty of time to actually get the word out and vote on those as well. So once they collect ideas, there'll be a voting round where they have to go back out to community with the top choices that were presented. And then the community will actually get to vote on any of the items that they want, and then you get funded. So really cool process. Stay tuned, you'll be hearing more. And then lastly, I'm going to pass it to Chris to give us an update on community. I can't even say it. Community. Go ahead, Chris.
It's all good. So you all probably haven't met me before. I'm Chris Jensen. I'm the comprehensive planning manager for the regional planning unit for King County. We work really closely with DLS on long range planning. So I appreciate David giving me time to help to share some news here today. we're currently in the process of developing the 2024 update to our comprehensive plan, which is a guide for how the county plans long range to support future growth in unincorporated communities or places outside of city limits, such as Skyway. As David mentioned, there's a proposal in the plan update that could impact Skyway if it moves forward. And so we were wanting to share a little bit about that to help to make sure that the community is aware and that we can get some input on it. So I'm going to share my screen really briefly here, as this is going to help to highlight what I want to talk about. Hopefully that shows up for you. Great, that's looking nice. So as you may know, the downtown cores of Skyway and White Center, which are outlined in the red outlines here, are currently designated in the comprehensive plan as what's called unincorporated activity centers, which is a fancy name to basically just say this is a land use designation that prioritizes these areas as the primary location for future commercial and high density residential development in urban unincorporated King County. This reflects the current zoning that's on the ground. We're not proposing to change that at all. And this is consistent with the sub-area plans that was recently adopted for the two communities last year. So the question that we're here today about is, as part of the 2024 update to the comprehensive plan, we are considering whether to also designate these two areas in red as countywide centers. They're already eligible to be designated as those, and they've been identified as such, but if it's supported by community, this plan update could formally make that designation. The benefit of making this change would be that these two centers would be able to be prioritized for additional infrastructure funding and investments. So like road improvements, bus service, things of that nature. We've heard that from the sub-area planning process that occurred the last couple of years. We've heard that these sort of investments are important to the community. However, at the same time, we've also heard that the trade-off of this sort of work could be that more investment can encourage more development, which could potentially cause displacement if not addressed by other measures. I will note that last year, the county did adopt anti-displacement measures for both Skyway and North Highline. That includes an inclusionary housing program, which is mandatory within the two red areas here, and then voluntary in the remaining areas of the two communities. That program also includes a community preference requirement, which requires those developments under that program to prioritize housing access for existing community members. So those are some of the ways that we're trying to help to push off the impacts of displacement that we already know is happening in community, but also as future growth occurs. This potential designation was talked about with community during development of the sub-area plans. It's mentioned in both sub-area plans as well. But at the time, the county committed to following up as part of the comp plan update that we're working on right now. So that's why I'm here today. We did just wrap a 45-day comment period on the proposals, and this was one of those. But we wanted to specifically highlight this potential change with your community, and we'll do the same with North Highline to be sure that we get more input. Even though the comment period has closed, we're still hoping to hear feedback from community as to whether or not we should move forward with this proposal. So we're wanting to share the word. If you have any feedback that you want to share in this moment, we welcome that. But also I can drop an email in the chat, which is COMP plan, PLAN, at kingcounty.gov, which can allow us to hear from community and work to make any changes accordingly. And I'll put that in the chat here. So that's my spiel. Any questions?
Thank you, Chris. We had one question, if it's possible to share the slides of the map areas that you were showing.
Yes, and I have a one-pager write-up too, so that way people can have access to that info.
Great, we'll make sure that that gets out.
Great.
I just had a question. So you said that a North Highline area went through this same process last year, and the community decided to designate it, I forget the term you're calling it, but eligible for more infrastructure funding.
Right. Yeah. So
Okay.
they're actually on the same timeline. So it was identified for both Skyway and North Highline last year. And we're deciding now whether to move forward with either or both as part of this particular plan update.
I see. I
Yeah.
guess my question was more about the timeline as to when infrastructure improvements actually come to the community if this decision is made.
So it'll probably be a couple years to be frank about it. The current plan update that we're working on would not be adopted until December of 2024. And then there's an additional process step that we have to do with another regional planning body to actually formalize the designation. That would really take at least a few months, maybe longer, I'm not sure. And so that would put us out for a couple years. And then from there, we could use a designation to apply for funding and investments. So it's not an immediate change, but it's definitely relatively short term as far as our long range planning goes. So not a great answer, but it's sort of the reality of it.
Thanks for clarifying.
Of course.
And Finn, I just emailed you the one pager. So if you can share that with everybody, it's a PDF form.
Thank you for doing that, David.
All right. And lastly, John Taylor showed up. So if anybody wants to say anything to John or have any questions about generally what we're doing, the man is here.
Yeah, sorry, I went to the office today and it took me a while to get home. So I'm out of practice. But I'm here to, if anyone has questions or I'm kibitzing mostly. I'm sure David already gave community updates.
All right, Finn, that's all for us.
Thank you. Okay, like I said before, we'll circle back if any other questions come in related to the community needs list or the comprehensive plan information, but thank you for sharing, Malcolm and Chris, and nice to see you, John. Okay, so moving along in our agenda, we have Cynthia with Skyway Water and Sewer. I will let you take it away.
All right, thank you, Finn. I'll be brief on such a warm, nice night, so maybe everybody can get outside. We're asking folks to conserve water or use it wisely. There was a statewide drought advisory issued on July 5th. We have a new customer web portal on our website, so please take a look at that. We're really excited about it. It allows customers to sign up for different forms of communication. So if you are tired of that paper bill arriving in your mailbox, you can go to our website, register, and get all of that information electronically. You can also choose to be notified if your bill is late, if your water consumption is high, if you'd like a text notification or an email instead of paper. We're also excited to announce that we were awarded a grant by King County for Equitable Wastewater Futures. That was a $1 million grant to extend the sewer main and connect a number of properties that are currently on septic to public sewer. So we are in the beginning stage of design and construction is expected to be completed by December of 2024. We're also trying to figure out how to deal with a new requirement by the state that prevents turning off water service during hot weather, and how best to manage that and make it easy for people to know what we're doing and for us to be responsive to folks. So watch our newsletter for more information or the website. And last but not least, we just recently applied for low interest Public Works Trust Fund loans to underwrite the cost of construction. We submitted 6 applications totaling nearly $15.4 million for 4 water projects and 2 sewer projects that are planned to be constructed over the next 6 years or so. There is a $10 million biennial limit to what can be awarded to the district, but we submit that many applications for 2 reasons. not all projects score the same, so this gives us more opportunity to meet the scoring criteria. And number two, it gives a message to the state that there's a significant need to keep up with this low-income loan program. And that's my report, and I'll take any questions.
Cynthia, just something that wasn't clear to me. You mentioned something about turning off water in high heat temperatures. Can you just explain what you meant about that? Why would water be shut off?
Well, so typically the most common reason we turn water off is for non-payment. And just to kind of put that in perspective, when you get your bill at the beginning of the month, it's due at the end of the month, and we bill every other month. It would be 60 days after that, or 2 months before you could be subject to a turnoff, depending on if you've paid the bill that's 90 days old, or if it's just your most recent bill. Prior to turning anyone's water off, we send 2 notifications, one at the very beginning of the month, another one a week later, week to 10 days later, and then the turnoff is typically the last Tuesday of the month. The state enacted a new bill that prevents power and water from being turned off if the National Weather Service issues a certain type of alert. And so we are considering whether to frame up a policy that we would turn off and watch the National Weather Service notifications, or if we will just suspend water turnoffs for the hot summer months. So nothing has been decided yet. The bill went into effect July, let's see here, July 23rd. But we do turnoffs in the even numbered months. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, that makes a lot more sense. So essentially there's a new legality that states that people should have access to water in excessive heat.
Yep, exactly. And we're not opposed to the rule. We're just trying to figure out how to best implement it with the least angst to our customers, and without added expense for dispatching people on the weekends. There's some definitions. If people's water is turned off and they ask to have it restored because maybe they've been out of town or something, we're supposed to respond promptly. And in trying to get an answer as to what promptly means, we've not been able to do that. Is that 5 minutes, 5 hours, or 5 days? Well, certainly not 5 days, but 5 minutes might be a little bit quicker than we can respond.
Okay, one other question came in
Sure.
via the chat. If water is already shut off due to default on payment and there is an advisory, would you turn water back on for that customer?
People can request that water be restored. If it's been turned off prior to the advisory, they will be able to request that it be restored. And we have the option to ask them to sign a payment agreement. And again, one of the things we're looking at is how do we implement that on a weekend if someone calls us and wants to have water restored? So those are all the details that, for the good intention of this rule, the application is a little bit more difficult. But certainly they can request to do it, and we're going to figure out a way to make it happen. Either that, or we will just blanket turn people on. Those are the options we're still looking at.
Got it.
But certainly appreciate the questions and feedback.
Great. Okay, so I think we're ready to move along to King County Fire District 20 with Chief Eric Hicks. Thank you, Cynthia.
You're welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Eric Hicks here, Fire Chief for the Skyway Fire Department. Just a little bit of a report here today. Our current call volume for the year, we are at 1,500 calls, which we are right on track to for increased call volume as compared to last year. Last year, we finished the year out at about 2,972 calls. So we're right on track to probably either meeting that or exceeding that for the year. One of the largest fires we've had this year in our district so far has been the Valley View condos. Whenever we have a fire in our district, we certainly receive a lot of help from surrounding fire departments. So that's why you saw so many different fire department agencies at this fire, because we cannot do it alone. The first unit arrived on scene within about 3.5 minutes from the time of dispatch. We actually had two residents that suffered moderate to minor injuries and were transported to the hospital. The King County Sheriff's Office Fire Investigation Unit determined that the fire was accidental. One of the things to kind of learn from this fire is the fire, before we arrived on scene, if you saw some of the pictures on Twitter and on Facebook, it was well involved before we got there. And what we always recommend is if you have a fire in your home, first we should talk about never have a fire in your home, but if you do have a fire in your home and you are evacuating, or close the doors behind you on your way out. That could save some of the stuff in your unit. And if you are in a apartment complex, that could help save the building. So leaving the doors open as this person evacuated from their home contributed to the fire spreading. So as that fire grew, where fire can grow, it can, depending on the fuel load, fuel load means how much stuff is in the living room or bedroom, it can double every 15 seconds. And so as that fire was growing, it went outside the front door, which is actually, if you're in front of the building, it's actually in the back side of the building, traveled through the breezeway of the condo building up to the second floor and went into the attic space. So it took out kind of that south corner of the building, traveled up to the attic space and went across the attic space of the building. Now, a lot of the damage, of course, was fire damage. If you saw pictures on that back end, it looked like a plane hit the building. Then there was a lot of water damage that went along with that. And again, a lot of staff hours went into controlling the fire so it wouldn't extend up the hill to houses on the other street above and to condo buildings next to it. So we had Red Cross on the scene to help out with residents that needed assistance. There were other residents that were out of town. And this is something that we never want to see, in any area as far as a fire like this. It's devastating. So we did what we could to help the residents. And I believe that things are underway with the insurance company. And hopefully we'll see what happens. I'm pretty sure they're probably going to have to tear the entire building down. As far as 4th of July, just to give you some data for the period between the 4th and the 5th, we had 1 car fire, 1 large dumpster fire, 8 aid calls, 4 rehab calls, and those rehab calls are our unit going outside of our area to assist other agencies. We fill air bottles and we give out water and kind of help those firefighters rehab. So that unit went out 4 times during that period. And we had 3 vehicle accidents resulting in 4 transports. We didn't have any major house fires between the 4th and the 5th, which is really good. But in South King County, calls increased a lot this year. So just to give you an example, residential incidents rose by more than 600% in South King County. And when I'm explaining South King County, that is from basically Skyway, Tukwila, North Bering Highline, going all the way out to south of Auburn and Federal Way to Tacoma there. So a 600% increase in house fires and 123% increase in brush fires. So it was definitely busy for everyone in South King County, but in the Skyway, we did relatively well. This is the second year we have not had a house fire on the 4th of July. So I'm very happy to report that. As far as our staffing, we've, over the last 2 to 3 years, I've reported on this where we've been losing a lot of our volunteer firefighters. They have been getting hired by other fire departments, so congratulations to them. But it leaves holes in our staffing. When I came on as a fire chief in 2017, we had 8 career firefighters and about 32 volunteers. Today, we're down to 12 volunteers. And we have increased staffing over the last couple of years. with the help and support of the community. And so today we are up to 20 career firefighters. We just had 2 of those firefighters graduate from the academy last month, June. And we have 4 firefighters that just started a couple of weeks ago. And we're doing what's called a pre-academy with them. And they will go to the academy starting the last week of August. And anytime a firefighter graduates from the fire academy, we celebrate that because it is 5 months out of their life that they are going to the academy every day and training and being tested. And then that graduation comes along. So it is a long 5 months for them to get them up to speed and train and get them out in the streets with their crews. Community engagement, mark your calendars. We're going to continue to push out advertisement for a health and safety fair for August 19th between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. This is always a good event for our department with us partnering up with Elijah Wan's Hand Foundation. And so we look forward to working with Ms. Brown again this year. We also have all our partners from West Hill to the VFW to the Sheriff's Department. And so we just look forward again to having everyone there. We will send out another email because this year so far we've only got about 12 community partners sign up to have booths there. So you will be hearing from me again and seeing emails saying, hey, please sign up if you haven't signed up yet, because we want to get at least 20 community partners there with booths. This year we also combining our 80th year anniversary of the district. So the district was established in 1943. So this year we will be celebrating that with pictures, memorabilia. We actually have old videos and all kinds of great stuff, and maybe some cake or punch or something will be there. So that's hopefully another draw to get the community to come and participate and hang out and touch the truck and visit with all of your community first responders. So with that, are there any questions for me? Okay, I'm always scared that I'm on mute after I gave a 5-minute report. So hopefully I'm not on mute.
That was great, Chief Hicks. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we are ready to move along. King County Sheriff's Office, I see we have CSO Vicky. So you are welcome to do your presentation. Thank you, Chief Hicks.
Thank you all and hello, good evening. Mike Norris, Detective Norris, had a family emergency, so he can't be with us tonight. So he makes his apologies and he's with us in spirit. I did create a PowerPoint, not sure if you want me to share that or if you want to just load it and I can talk to it as it goes. Or I can just talk. It's up to you.
You're welcome to share your screen, Vicky.
All right, let's go try to do that.
Whatever is easier for you.
Oh, that's always the trick, right? All right, let's see. I don't know if it's sharing or not. I don't think you guys are seeing this, are you?
No, not yet.
Well, let's see. How about now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we are the King County Sheriff's Office. We have already so far this month. It's not letting me move to the next one. Come on. All right, 287 calls so far in July. You can sort of see from the various calls, there are different colors, which means things on our stats boards. The majority of them, as we all know, tend to be auto thefts, auto recoveries. That's a big one. And also this month, sad to say that we have some fraud, but we'll talk a little bit more about that as I go along. The reason our numbers might seem a little bit low for July, from July 1 to July 18, is because we had some technical difficulties. I would love to say that this next level of statistics is a sign that crime is going down, but unfortunately we had a computer glitch that I'm sure some of you are aware of. The media did report about it. that we had a security incident, was a little bit less than a month long, but it did affect our CAD system, which is basically a record of all of our enforcement activity. So they are painstakingly putting the data in by hand, which is going to take a little bit of time. So our stats are going to look a little wonky. If you do go on any of our boards online to King County Sheriff.gov and you see any of our statistics, they might not look completely accurate because we did have a security issue with our system and we had to sort of rebuild it. So we're better now, and things are improving, but as you can see, some of our statistics are fairly accurate. This one, I believe, is updated. So auto thefts are still creating quite a problem here for us in Skyway in the King 8. And the thing we're trying to do about that is obviously we still have Kia and Hyundai wheel locks. Please tell your neighbors. Unfortunately, tonight, as I was coming in, we had a Kia stolen from the Lake Ridge area. And I wish I would have had that car with a wheel lock. Maybe it would have prevented it, maybe not. But typically the people that are stealing these Kias and Hyundais are not master criminals. They're mostly young folks and they have figured out a way to do it easily. And so that is how these cars are being stolen so often. So please, please encourage your neighbors. If they don't already have a wheel lock from me, I'm happy to come drive it to them. That is how desperate I am to get it into the right hands. Great thing about that flyer that I created is now we have it in 16 languages. So if you know anybody or any community that might need a translation of any of our flyers, we're doing that now. We're trying to work with our language specialists, and they've been able to translate into 16 very unique languages. So definitely looked into the communities that are in Skyway, and we tried to, touch each of the ones that we thought were most prevalent. So we have, again, you can see how similar they are, except for the language is different, Arabic, Ukrainian. So if anyone knows of anybody that wants any information like that, please let me know. And I will do my best to get it translated. We have, I believe, 3 flyers right now. It's this crime prevention for auto theft. It's also what is suspicious, sort of broken down into, if you see something, say something is basically what we're trying to encourage people, but sometimes people don't know exactly what suspicious is. So we've made a flyer. We've also translated that one. As I was talking about earlier, we're really seeing an uptick in fraud offenses. And sometimes the stats don't show you exactly what you want until you compare it to last year. So all of last year, we had 14 fraud cases. So far this year, we've had 25. And what that basically is telling me is that we have some education to do. Yes, we have a flyer. Yes, we are willing to come out to organizations and discuss how to prevent your family members, your loved ones from being scammed. It's all about taking your time, thinking it through, calling another number to call to ask if this is truly happening. Don't take anyone's word for it. It's not your bank. It's not Amazon with, your card has been hacked. Most of those are not true. Tragically, we've seen people lose almost up to $100,000 on one of these scams recently. It's insidious, and we want to do everything we can to really try to, put the word out that this is happening. And don't be ashamed to come forward. The more cases that we find out about, the more we can work with our partners in the FBI and in the Federal Trade Commission and really try to stop and put a halt to all of this. Any way that we can to, slow down this, the ability of people to scam money from mostly our elderly population and also our people that are living on fixed incomes, immigrant families as well. So please pass the word. In some of our meetings, we've talked about some safety issues with Skyway just because of our sidewalk conditions. We don't have sidewalks really for our kids to play on. And so if someone's riding a bike or going for a walk and there's a blind turn or there's a hill, maybe someone driving a car doesn't see them coming, really trying to work with some different partners to figure out ways that we can give some driver awareness that the pedestrians are there, the bicyclists are there, children are there. So Target Zero is a state Department of Transportation program. They have money. I found them. They have money. So I have asked them to please produce some signs for me that are not permanent. They would be movable. Want to work with the West Hill Community Association on who best maybe to leave those in the care of. neighborhoods that might be best served with these signs. They are going to try to produce them for us by September. So I'm hoping sooner, but that's the deadline that they told me they thought they could get them produced by. They have a grant and they have to spend the money by a certain date. So I'm hoping to have them. They're asking me for verbiage. If anybody has an opinion on what they think the sign should say, I suggested the basics of, slow down children at play, slow down pedestrians ahead, bicyclists, beware of the be aware of the bicyclists, not beware of bicyclists. Anyone has any suggestions for me, please let me know sooner than later, because that's going to start getting produced hopefully within the next week. But that's, I hope, good news. The roads department is still looking into whether or not they can do like rumble strips or permanent signs. That takes a little bit longer, and I didn't want to wait or not have our community feel safe in the meantime. So I thought this was a better than nothing sort of stopgap measure. So I hope people will let me know if that's something that they would like to see in their community. National Night Out is coming up. The fire chief probably already touched on it a little bit, but August 1st, we partner with the fire department and we go around and we visit all of the Block Watch neighborhood parties that we can get to. Some have made homemade ice cream in the past. Some have made all kinds of good treats. And so we're hoping this year will be just as much and just as bountiful. So far, we have 5 people signed up. We still have time to sign up. 5 parties, I should say. This year, Creston Point is also requesting to do National Night Out. They want to do it on August 2nd so that it would be a different night so more could attend, more from the law enforcement and first responder side. So we're really excited about that, and hopefully we'll know a little bit more about how they're planning their party and what they need from us. And last but not least, big kudos, some things that have been fun this week for me. King County Parks hosting their summer fun at Skyway Parks every Tuesday and Thursday from 12 to 2. They're looking for kiddos to come out and play. Today we did parachute fun and we did piñata making, and then we got to break piñatas. And yes, I was in there chasing down those gummy bears. So look out, kids. King County Roads, thank you so much for bringing Uplift program to Skyway. Today I stopped and said thank you to some of the workers. They were so excited to tell me that they were clearing the way off of the sidewalk for a mural to go in on the wall. That was really exciting because I had just heard about that at the board meeting, at the West Hill board meeting. And so the fact that the Uplift community workers are engaging with the community and talking about the things that are happening here, I think that's really exciting. So I gave them some Slurpees and said thank you. So that's everything from me. I can stop sharing.
Thank you, Vicki. Lots of great updates. We appreciate all of your hard work. I don't see any questions that have come in for you, Vicki. Oh, actually, yes, there is one. Where do you register for National Night Out to get visits from KCSO or KC Fire District 20?
Just send an email to me and I can put my information in the chat. And I work with Chief Hicks so that we make sure everyone goes to, we sort of rotate through, because we know how popular those firemen are. We don't want to show up at the same time. So we like to sort of, grease the skid and then we let them come in behind. No, I'm kidding. We work together so that we can make sure everyone gets visits.
Okay, great. We'll make sure to share out your contact information. And then Cynthia, I'm circling back to you. We have a question that came in from Facebook. When you were talking about applying for funding, it said, what are the priority Skyway projects you seek funding for in your applications?
So what we have, as I mentioned, 4 water projects and 2 sewer projects that we applied for. One of them is a series of small water main upgrades at various locations. They're not very big projects. Also, our tanks 3 and 4 on our watershed need recoating. Our tank 2, which sits up near the district office, is time for it to be recoated as well. And then we have a water main along South Sunnycrest that has seen a number of water main breaks and leaks. And so we determined priority based on what sort of adverse conditions we've had, either water main breaks or sewer backups. The 2 sewer projects that we applied for funding for is for one of them is a pump station replacement, and the other is called Skyway Park North Phase 2. And if you recall from some previous meetings, I've talked about Skyway Park North Phase 1 project that is off of Renton Avenue near, in the vicinity of 74th on the north side of Renton Avenue, generally across from the 72nd Street entrance to Skyway Park. The Phase 2 project is a little bit south and east. And anyone that would like more information, I'll put our email address in the chat box, and they're welcome to send an email or give a call to the office.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Absolutely.
And Vicky, just a shout out to people on Facebook and YouTube also here, but thank you for your hard work, Vicky. We appreciate you. That came from Joel Bush. Okay, moving along in our agenda, we have, I have in the agenda Olajuwon's Hands, and I know Chief Hicks announced it, but I am just announcing for Olajuwon's Hands some important news about what they're doing. So the first thing is that they are looking for backpack and school supplies to be donated to the Olajuwon Brown Foundation. Things like backpacks, binders, notebook paper, spiral notebooks, pens, pencils, crayons, markers, highlighters, colored pencils, glue, folders, scissors, rulers, headphones. And you can do those items or a cash donation. These items are then stuffed by volunteers. And so they are hosting some volunteer work parties to create these back to school backpacks. They have a few days. We'll get our flyer and make sure that it's posted on our website, but Monday, August 14th, Tuesday, August 15th, and Wednesday, August 16th, they will be stuffing backpacks with volunteer power. And these backpacks will be given out at the Health and Safety Fair. So like Chief Hicks mentioned, on Saturday, August 19th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., they are giving out backpacks to any children that are present. And it is first come, first serve while supplies last. So we just wanted to make sure that the community was aware of that, whether you're interested in volunteering, donating, or showing up to get one. Okay, so that takes care of Olajuwon's Hands. Do we have anyone from Renton School District on the call today? I don't think so. Okay. Skyway VFW Post 9430. Okay, we'll continue. I see we have Melissa Mather from Skyway Library. Do you have a report for us?
I do indeed.
Great.
So I'm the teen and adult librarian here at the Skyway Library. You can come to me anytime if you have ideas for programs. I wondered if maybe you might want to use us as a place to do that survey, to have the survey if you wanted to bring the community together. The first thing I want to announce is this Saturday, which is our first Saturday. We've expanded our hours here at Skyway. So we are now open, I hope I'm getting this right, Monday through Saturday. We'll just be closed on Sundays. So our first Saturday, we're having a pop-up book sale, the Friends of the Skyway Library, from 11 to 2. It'll take place outside of the library as long as the weather's okay. This is just a, let's get started. We'll have another bigger one in October, but I wanted to announce that, let everybody know 11 to 2 on Saturday, July 22nd. We have a lot of summer programs coming up. Some of them we've advertised for a while. Some of them are close to being full. They're registered programs. We have a family game box event coming up at 2 this Wednesday. You create a box full of origami toys and games. Of course, we have our announcement now. So let me know if it's too busy in the back and I can stop. Okay. Tuesday, we will have our awesome math space event for K through 12. We have a pixel art program coming up, and then our last summer program will be Flying Contraptions, which is the Museum of Flight event, which is going to be on Monday, the 31st of July. In the fall, we have a bunch of adult programs coming up. Our expanded hours are something you can come in and get a little flyer to tell you the hours. Basically, we've added some hours to the day, like an hour to the day. And that I think is what I know. Again, I will let you know. Let me see if I can get this flyer to come up so you can, but the biggest thing that I wanted to report is just to see if we could get people to the book sale. That the funds from those books, for people who don't know, they're what fund all of our programs here at the Skyway Library. And so that is what helps us do that. I think that is my report. So thank you very much for having us.
Thank you, Melissa. Glad to hear the library is opening more. I know I've definitely walked up to find it closed. Okay. All right. So next up, we have WestDOT SR 900 update from April Delchamps.
Hello, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be back here tonight. I have a couple of announcements. One, the State Route 900 report that I've been talking about and kind of sharing where we're at in it has officially been posted to the website as of about 3 weeks ago. And I'll post a link to the website as well as a kind of direct link to like the executive summary. So like the summary of what the proposal and recommendation is. And additionally, some news on we're getting started on the projects. We have secured $1 million to start seeking additional grant funds, but also to start what's called pre-design. And that's where we start putting essentially lines on the map and working through with the community, the exact details. And the way it works is we had the recommendation broken down in 3 phases. We are working to deliver phase A, and phase A is State Route 900 from just to the north of 129th all the way to 135th. Is going to be putting a shared use path on the north side of at least 10 feet. As well as a separation, a buffer, so that you're not walking right against traffic since it's quite fast. As part of that, one of the major things we really heard from the community was how fast that roadway is. So as part of that, we're going to be narrowing lanes, looking at where we can take away that, reduce that center dual turn lane to make it a better place to walk, ride, and roll for those residents that are choosing to do that. At 129th, this phase A also includes some interim improvements. So pedestrian push buttons, better crosswalks that make it better for a pedestrian to cross at that intersection. At 133rd, we're proposing a traffic signal. This would help A, slow down traffic, but B, allow vehicles as well as people to more easily cross that roadway. And then down towards Creston Point's apartments, phase A also includes a new protected enhanced pedestrian crossing so that those that are living in Creston Point can cross the street. And as part of that, we're going to be working with King County Metro to try to relocate that bus stop. That was one of the big things we heard earlier late last year, last fall. There was really just a big concern at how far away that bus stop was compared to the other side and how hard it was to access. So we're actively seeking funding to fully fund the design as well as the right-of-way phase for that phase A. And we have an application due on Friday to fully fund those phases. So we're hoping we can secure that and keep advancing it. And we're going to keep going to seek additional construction funding as well as funding for phase B as well as phase C. So we can continue to deliver this in order to make this a better place for not just cars, but definitely for people and those that want to cross it. And I'm happy to answer questions, and I will put all the links in the chat as we go through. And on that grant application, we will not know till fall. It takes a pretty long process. So I'm really hopeful by Christmas I can have some good news and say we're fully funded for the design and right away for that phase and start really making some of the transformation for that area.
Thank you, April. I have one kind of question comment that since you were talking about bus stop redesign, I just wanted to ask if any thought was put into connecting with Creston Point in the way that students use the public bus stop as where the schools buses also stop. So it is a shared bus stop between the school district and the public metro system bus stop. And if there were thoughts about separating.
Actually, it's not on my side, but one of the things we heard last year from the Renton School District, as well as well, starting probably Christmas-ish from the Renton School District, as well as King County and Metro and others, was that bus stop that is essentially as you're entering Creston Point, there's the public bus stop on one side. On the other side is where they were loading up 2 bus loads of elementary school children at that location. So we are actually four. So this is my traffic engineer. I should have thought to get her an update, but we are putting in a essentially an interim project that is focused on safety. So putting up additional separation, making it kind of like instead of being a really long turn lane, a lane that's dedicated to like where we can do the pickup better. And I can get you more details. I don't want to speak incorrectly because I'm a planner and not a traffic engineer. But the last I heard, that is something that is going to be going out and being constructed this summer before school starts. So we will be having that. And then it will be an interim, and hopefully we can keep iterating to make it better as we put the final vision in place.
Great to hear. Thank you, April.
Mhm.
We appreciate those updates. Okay. I just wanted to see if there are any other community reports before we move on to our main presentation. That's about the Taylor Creek Restoration Project. I see Khadijah's on the call. Would you like to give an update, Khadijah?
Yes, thank you, Finn. Hello, everyone. I am the community van coordinator for our community van program, and I just wanted to share that our program is continuing to grow, which is very exciting. We have about 25 drivers and counting. I did 2 volunteer trainings today, and right now we're averaging about 6 to 7 trips each week just from our summer programs, and some more trips to like parks and trails. So we've had some recent trips to like Snoqualmie Falls and Point Defiance Zoo, Deception Pass, which was just all great trips. The van also has a discovery pass in the van now, so that's great. And then my last update is that we have our agreement signed with Creston Point. So hopefully by the end of this week or next, one of our vans will be placed there. And I apologize for being out of breath. We're getting our carpets replaced right now. So I'm like, whew. But anyways, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Khadijah. I appreciate the work you do. Okay. Any other community reports? All right. We'll move on to our main presentation. So I'll turn it over to Cody Nelson with, I don't want to say this wrong, Seattle Public Utilities. Great. Okay.
That's right.
Take it away.
Thank you, Finn. Thanks. Hi, everyone. I'm Cody Nelson. This is my second time presenting and being invited to the West Hill Community Association meeting. So thank you for having me. I'm here also with my colleague, Danny Arauz. He's our communications lead for the project. Later on, he'll be putting some information in the chat for everyone. And let me share my screen. I do have a presentation. All right, everyone's seen the slideshow? Great. Okay, so it's been a while since I've provided an update on this project. So really quick, I want to recap the Taylor Creek Restoration Project is a creek and habitat restoration project. It also includes a culvert replacement at Rainier Avenue South. Taylor Creek flows from its headwater wetland just north of the Skyway area through Lake Ridge Park, which is also known as Dead Horse Canyon, down to across or under Rainier Avenue South, and then out to Lake Washington. So between Parks and Seattle Public Utilities, the city owns a good majority of the property that the creek flows through. There are some private properties that still own creek frontage. But the goals of the project are lofty, and this project started out primarily as a culvert replacement and Creek Habitat and Shoreline Restoration Project. Initially, our designs included a sediment pond just upstream of the culvert, which was designed to manage and capture sediment that is coming down from the canyon, so due to erosional processes. We decided internally that this was not a good solution to the sediment problem. We also heard from our regulators that they did not think that was a good long-term solution to managing the sediment. And so in 2019, we started to do some work to reassess how to manage that sediment. And we pursued some large wood designs for the canyon. And in 2021 and 2022, we started to present that information to the community, which we had 3 options, option 1, 2, and 3, and a recommended option, which was option 1, which was to install large wood structures throughout the canyon in the main stem of the creek to trap that sediment. That work would have come at a significant price of installing a temporary access road and cutting down trees in the canyon. And the other 2 options were hand-placed structures, so smaller structures in the creek to capture sediment. And then the third option was a hybrid option of hand-placed structures and larger machine-placed structures like option 1 and a partial temporary access road. So we heard very loudly from the community that installing a temporary access road and removing trees was not a good option. And so we went back to the drawing board in terms of trying to figure out what some new alternative sediment management options would be. So I just want to restate that we're doing this outreach process in response to the community voices that we heard, because we do really want to partner with community on this project. So the project goals are listed here, and you can see that we've added that community partnerships and prioritizing the forest ecosystem and climate resilience as much as possible to our list of project goals. So one of the things that the community called for was a third-party review of project information, as well as for the new sediment management strategies to be identified. So SPU's solution to this request was a value study. A study is described on the screen here. It's a group of external consultants that come in and take a look at the project and propose new ideas. So the value study team was recommended by the value study consultant, a third-party consultant, and reviewed by SPU, Parks, and our community stewardship group, Friends of Dead Horse Canyon. There were 6 subject matter experts on that team taking a look at our project. The experts were arborists, ecologists, wetland scientists, geomorphologists, civil engineers, federal permitting experts. We had construction and cost engineering experts, fisheries biologist, and a stormwater engineer. So some of those folks were performing multiple roles. The study took place over the course of a week in mid-June. And the recommendations from the value study are not full design options, but they're concepts and ideas that we might explore using in designing new options. And we want to hear the community's thoughts on these initial ideas and concepts before deciding which to explore in more detail. The value study team brainstormed 53 total ideas, and of those developed 21 with a short write-up. So the ideas were sorted into 5 categories of controlling erosion in the canyon, increasing resilience, minimizing construction impacts, the logistics of materials delivery, and retaining sediment in the canyon. a lot of information on this slide, but these are the 21 ideas that were developed with a short write-up, which SPU will be asking for community feedback on. And community members will be able to access the full draft report on our website to read more about each idea. The draft report is very long and there's multiple pages for each write-up. It's not a very interesting read, but I think if you have an interest in a solution for sediment management in the canyon, it's worth taking a look. So we're also going to be doing some community engagement. We have a couple meetings planned over the summer to present these ideas in more detail, answer questions from the community. And we're going to use that community feedback and input from parks and our own design team's technical evaluation to develop new full design options. And this process will likely take the rest of the year. After the new options are developed, we will then share these with the community and gather more feedback. Sorry about that slide change. Before making a decision on which option to advance for final design. And then permitting and construction. So we've got 2 meetings coming up, an in-person meeting on Tuesday, August 15th. That's going to be held at the Rainier Beach Community Center. And then we're following that up for those that can't make it in person with a virtual meeting that will be on Microsoft Teams. And that will be on August 17th. And both meetings are from 7 to 8 p.m. We're planning on sending out a listserv mailer with more information, including the link to the Teams meeting for the virtual presentation, and also some information on how the community members can sign up for our listserv to receive email updates about the project. Here's a couple links for our online open house and my email. And I welcome questions about the project and feedback at any point throughout the project, and especially this summer while we're working on developing our options. I think this slideshow is timed because it keeps changing on me. Does anyone have any questions at this time?
Cody, I just want to add, I'm going to put a link in the chat to sign up. Well, the link is going to be to register for our listserv. So if anybody wants to get updates about the project, just add your email there, and we promise we won't send you any spam. It'll just be periodic updates about the project. And also we will be sending a listserv soon with the registration information for those 2 meetings that we previously mentioned. So if you'd like to attend those, yeah, the link to register will be sent out by the end of the week. And yeah, drop in that link in the chat right now.
Thank you, Cody and Danny. I have one question. I've been learning more about the connection between Skyway Park and Taylor Creek. Skyway Park being the headwaters for Taylor Creek. Will any of these options have an impact on Skyway Park further upstream?
So Skyway Park is west of Renton Avenue South, is that correct?
Yes.
I'm not exactly sure where Skyway Park is. Let me see if I can do this.
So Finn and Cody, it's probably generally south of Taylor Creek, Skyway Park is.
Can you see the map that I just put on the screen, or is
There you
that
go.
not?
Yes, we can see
Yeah? Oh, great.
the map.
Okay, so the project location is here within Lake Ridge Park, and King County is kind of grayed out here. Where is Skyway Park?
So Skyway Park is located on 120th. I can see 120th there. Let me just get my bearings. Okay, do you see the yellow 68th Avenue South as it intersects with Renton Avenue South?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, kind of open area below it is Skyway
Yeah.
Park.
Okay, so that is in King County and it will not be part of the project area. The project is specifically in Lake Ridge Park up here. The headwater wetland is in King County and it feeds primarily the West Fork of Taylor Creek. One of the things that came out of the value study and which we've heard from community is developing a stronger partnership with King County in terms of managing stormwater that goes into the canyon or Lake Ridge Park. So you can see this kind of weird county boundary line where the city owns to the west and just south the west and the east forks of Taylor Creek, but then all of the property surrounding that is King County, and most of the watershed, aka the drainage area for Taylor Creek, is located here in King County. So the drainage in this area is making its way via storm pipes and overland flow into Taylor Creek somehow. So there's a number of outfalls into Taylor Creek that we have brought up to King County, you know, working on a partnership, seeing if we could address some of those issues together. As part of this project, we are addressing 2 outfalls along the east rim of the project site. I'll zoom in a little bit. One of those outfalls is here at Rustic Road and another one here at Crestwood Drive. This outfall is actually owned by King County. So we're working with them on the design. We've applied for a construction grant for that work. And then SPU owns the outfall, which is partially in King County and partially within the city boundary here at Crestwood. So we're addressing some of them. There's a lot more stormwater outfalls and other stormwater controls that could be implemented. They won't likely be part of this project, but we are starting those discussions with King County.
Thank you. I see Cynthia has a hand up.
Yeah, Cody, can you zoom out on the map you have there right now a little bit? So correct me if I'm wrong, that slightly vacant area southwest of Horse Canyon, over in just a little bit further west in unincorporated King County. Brooks Village is part of the headwaters of Taylor Creek.
Yeah, this is what looks like a housing development, but it's actually not.
Right, and you can actually see the blue headwater lines there. And if you go down into Skyway Park, you'll say the same thing, that there's the headwaters that come all the way from Skyway Park. Keep going down south, further south, a little bit more, a little bit further. There we go. You can see it right in the middle of
right here.
So those waters also head into Taylor Creek, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and you can kind of trace that along here, and it's piped in some locations, and then it spits out right here. Sorry. Yeah, right there. And you can see this area is within the city of Seattle, but these are areas where these private property owners own property right up to the creek. So that is not public property. Over here, this is green, this is Parks property. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Thanks for pointing that out, Cynthia.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the group?
Yes, Cody. 2 questions from Facebook came in. Can you speak to why there wasn't an expert in urban park community use and the best ways to combine ecology and community use of the park?
That's a great question. I would say to that, we are working with Parks, who is the steward of that land, Seattle Parks and Recreation. So they do have a number of experts on their team to advise on those issues. Seattle Public Utilities is focused on the drainage system in the city of Seattle. And so the primary focus of the project is the creek and restoring that habitat and controlling the sediment so that we can replace the culvert and restore the creek through all of the properties there in the lower portion of the creek. So we are definitely collaborating with Parks on, what the best solution for the canyon is. But in terms of engineering solutions to control the sediment and, reduce erosion in the canyon, that type of person was not consulted for the team.
Okay, and additionally, how can sediment be managed without fully managing the headwaters like Skyway Park and Brooks Village?
So the headwaters really aren't too much of a problem in terms of the overall health of Taylor Creek. The headwaters are actually a really great habitat, and it's a really great feature to manage stormwater in times of high flow. It attenuates the stormwater, it helps to collect sediment, it helps to release that stormwater over longer periods of time. What is happening is in the lower part of the creek, after we get past the confluence, a little bit in the East Fork, the grade is fairly steep here through Lake Ridge Park. And so when we do see storm flows, we see very fast water flowing. It's very erosive. We already have steep slopes. We already have landslides in the canyon. SPU is looking at stabilizing the slope in 2 separate areas within the canyon right now. And so if, what we would want is if we had a wetland in the East Fork as well, kind of helping to control those high stormwater flows. But we don't have that. And so we're seeing the effects of those high flows and the erosion coming down the creek and depositing that sediment in the channel where the channel is constricted, at driveway culverts, at bends in the channel. It's depositing in and upstream of Rainier Avenue culvert, and it's also depositing on the delta, which is a huge problem because that prevents migrating Chinook salmon from entering the channel and spawning in the channel. There's a number of other salmon species that use the channel and could use the channel more if it were more accessible and better habitat. I hope I answered that question.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting information. And let's see. Is there any proposed structure for working between Seattle and King County?
I wouldn't say there is a structure yet. I know King County is doing their comprehensive stormwater planning. So I've attended at least one of those meetings. We've been talking to folks in the Department of Parks, DNRP, Department of Natural Resources and Parks, who, take a look at these areas and manage projects in the area and have really just started the discussions, between them to highlight the issues that, stormwater is causing. It's not that we don't want the water in the creek, because we do. The water actually provides a lot of great habitat. It's that we want to slow it down. We want it to be less erosive, and we want it to carry less sediment out of the creek down to the lower reaches of the creek.
Okay, and then we just have one more question, and I have a question as well. When it comes time to kind of enact whatever decision is made, will that affect communities' use of the park, and how might that be addressed?
That's a great question. Usually any construction project will have impacts to the community. And so with a project like this, I don't know what the final sediment management solution will be, and that in part depends on the feedback that we do receive from the community. But there is only one access, one true public access into the park right now, and that is from the trailhead at Holyoke Way. There is a public easement here off of the Bangor right away. This trail coming down here is very steep. I know people in the community use it. Other than those two locations, there's not really another access point into the canyon. And so that's definitely a difficulty that we're facing in terms of how will we get our construction materials to build anything in the canyon into the canyon. And depending on that, that will kind of dictate what the impacts are to the community in terms of using the property. Probably in any situation, the park will be closed for a period of time while construction is happening, because I do expect that we would utilize the main trail into the park as one of the primary ways to get people and equipment and materials, or maybe not equipment, but people and materials into the canyon. And of course, any construction site can present dangers to the community. So making sure that the public safety is top of mind for any work that's going on there. And we would certainly coordinate all of that with Seattle Parks and Recreation and let the community know what those impacts will be well in advance.
And actually that kind of connects to my question. Was there is an entrance on the Lake Ridge Skyway side off of Rustic Road. It is kind of a community maintained entrance with a very steep grade, and I was wondering if there was any consideration by the park to maintain a more accessible trail to get down into the park from the unincorporated side.
So I did not know that there was any community access point on the east side of the canyon wall. As you just said, that east side is very steep. There's no formal trail system on the east side. And in fact, Parks and SPU has been partnering on invasive vegetation management along the East Canyon wall. And it's so steep in there that we can't rely on Parks volunteers to even do that work. And so we have to hire contractors because it's a safety issue. So I was not aware that there was a access point, and I would love to talk more with you about where that is and who uses it, and where they're going when they get into the canyon at that location.
Sure, happy to.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah.
Okay, I think that we are wrapped up with our agenda. Thank you, Cody, for sharing that presentation with us. And I know that Friends of Dead Horse Canyon has been interested in presenting in the past. I know you've worked with them and thinking through some of these ideas. So appreciate you taking time to listen to community feedback. And I know this doesn't, is not exactly situated in Skyway, but it's important because it is adjacent and Skyway residents do use it. And from a person on Facebook, actually, Friends of Dead Horse Canyon uses that path regularly. I think he's referring to the one off of Rustic Road on the unincorporated side. Okay.
I'm meeting with them Thursday, so I will certainly mention that.
Yeah, great. Okay, so I wanted to thank you all for taking time on your Tuesday evening to be here, and wanted to say thank you to all of the different representatives from different organizations and groups that are here today, sharing information for our community. We appreciate community members who listened in, asked questions, gave comments, and we will be sharing out any information that was shared here, whether it's flyers or email addresses or links. So check our website, mywesthill.com. Gosh, I hope that's what it is. Sorry, I'm not a very techie person. Devin will ping me if that's wrong. .org, right? I know I was wrong. mywesthill.org. This coming weekend, there are a lot of community events happening, and we hope to be able to see you at one, if not all of them. We have the Sierra Sisters Health and Wellness Festival happening at Grocery Outlet. We have Nia Fest happening in Skyway Park. We've got the Friends of the Library doing their first book sale with the Saturday open hours. And there is another event.
Resource fair,
There's a resource fair on Saturday as well.
Friday.
Oh, on Friday, a resource fair on Friday, and
Art in the park on Sunday.
there we go. Thank you, Vicki. Yeah, and there's one other that I'm missing on Saturday that I'm just blanking. Oh, Miss Kennedy's organization, Women United, is hosting something for their group on Saturday as well. So lots to do and really nice to see you all. It's called the Kinship Carnival. Thank you, Devin. All right. Have a good evening, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Thanks.